Weekly Feed. I'm Kyle Meredith this week, joined by Sam Beam, Iron and Wine.
Hey, Kyle.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well for a Tuesday. It's nice
For
to
a
be
Tuesday.
here.
Yeah. Is it different than the other days? I don't know.
Well, it's Tuesday.
Sure. And happy you're alive. I'm happy you're here.
Yeah.
No, it's good to see you. We got the new record, Ghost on Ghost. It's last year, but it's not like old news yet.
Yeah, the newish one.
Yeah, the newish one. I know. I guess I've read about how you work and everything. It seems like that's already like I did that.
Yeah.
That's gone.
It does feel like that, but at the same time, love to talk about myself, so let's do it.
Well, I do want to catch up with you. There's a few things going on. I know you've had some life changes. You moved around.
Yeah.
I saw really something fun. You have a little bit of background in film. I know you started in film school.
That's right.
And I guess now around your home, you're hosting Harold and Maude screening.
Yeah, we did that just not too long ago. A friend of mine, Robert Malazzo from the Modern Film School in Manhattan, he called me one time and had me introduce a movie when I was in New York one time, and then I just moved to North Carolina to Durham, and so he had history. I think he went to Duke, and so he said, "I'm going to be doing the film program there. Do you want to show a movie?" And so we picked Harold and Maude because I could get up and present the movie and then play the Cat Stevens song. I totally butchered the song.
Did
It
you?
was awful. Yeah, it was terrible. It was so embarrassing. But anyway, the movie's great.
It almost seems obvious, like Iron and Wine does Cat Stevens. Like, of course Iron and Wine does Cat Stevens.
I know, that was a funny thing. Like, I really had to go figure out how to play it because I never played his song. I'm aware of his songs, but he wasn't like a big thing for me.
They're not exactly simple. Like, they sound simple, but they've got those odd changes that I guess...
Some of them do. The ones that I was playing did not. I wish I could use that as an excuse.
Yeah, not so much.
But some of the way he delivers the lines are not intuitive for me.
Yeah.
Whereas some songwriters, you hear it once and you've got it. But yeah, it was pretty embarrassing.
Well, as far as films goes, if the music thing hadn't taken off, is that where you probably would have ended up making the movies? And
yeah, that was the dream, to make my own movies. But at the time I put the first record, I was working, in the industry and teaching, so that's what I was doing.
Do you still have a pretty good critical mind about films?
To be honest, I don't get to see as much as I used to, as much as I would like to. There's only so many hours in the day. But yeah, I try to keep up.
Well, I know you've got a gaggle of kids. Like, how many times have you seen Brave and Frozen at this point?
Brave was kind of scary for some of them, so we didn't get to watch that one too many times.
Yeah.
Or I didn't have to watch it so many times. Frozen, I saw in the movie theater. Fantastic movie.
I haven't seen it yet. No, yeah, that's what I want to hear. That's going to be the quote on this, by the way.
Please, get some Disney kickback, please. No, it was fine.
You've been on Disney soundtracks, actually, haven't you? It was the Zorro, or no, what was it?
Oh yeah, that was a Disney.
Yeah, that was Disney. Yeah,
the Lone Ranger. Yeah,
see, that's it, Lone Ranger. That's it. So you've already got a little Disney kickback.
Yeah, little. It's a good way of describing it.
There is and one more thing about movies, and I've got to bring this up. It's actually the 10th anniversary of Garden State.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah, and it seems like that it's kind of a pivotal moment in your career.
Yeah, it was.
With that association.
It really was. It was wonderful to see, the people at the shows, just the numbers kind of blossom just because of the impact of this movie. I seemed to, at the time anyway, I had a lot of just dumb luck, really. To be honest, Ben Gibbard had asked me to cover that song, the Such Great Heights song. The Postal Service record was getting ready to come out, and they were going to do a single. And so he asked me for a B-side. The lazy bum didn't want to do his own things, and so he asked me to cover one and James Mercer to cover one. So we did it, and I guess the people from the movie just dug it. So it was just dumb luck, right place, the right time.
And it's still a little bit something you're associated with.
Yeah, very much so.
Which isn't a bad thing. It's a beautiful cover. It's lasted this entire time.
Thanks.
Yeah. So many things just go away. Yeah, and we still have that.
There you go. It's a good song. You can't really. It's hard to mess up a good song.
Yeah, that's true. And I noticed Zach Braff actually got another movie. It's kind of the unofficial sequel.
Oh,
Have you heard about that? It's coming out.
He didn't tell me.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Is he calling you up? Like, you know what? It's time.
He called me recently.
It's time, Sam. Well, you got to be in the right place, right? You're going to have to cover Let It Go, is what it's going to come down to. That's going to be in the next half of the week.
That's right. Right.
I guess there's a lot of anniversaries happening. I did read somewhere that you've kind of been going through the archives.
Yep, we're going to release some, clear the closet, as they say.
Yeah.
There's a lot of material, you know, because I was just doing music in my spare time.
Yeah.
The first record was just a couple selections from stuff that I had laying around. And so there was a lot of other stuff laying around, and for some reason or another, we've just been, you know, I like to keep working on new things, and so it seemed dumb to put old stuff out. But, you know, over the years, people have been interested in, and so it seemed like a good time to put it out.
Yeah. How does that Sam look to you now when you look back at that?
I don't know. I don't like to look at him.
Yeah.
I just keep looking at the other direction.
Yeah. No, I think that too, because it's got to be. I don't know. Does it feel like you're wasting time or something like that? Because you're like, man, I could be working on this stuff. And
no, it's nice. It's nice. Honestly, I mean, I'm teasing, but it's been nice to go back through and go, holy cow, who wrote that song? You know, I don't even know
where
who
was
that
it?
was. Yeah, it's a kick in the head, because the time just flies by. I mean, it feels like, you know, on the one hand, it seems like, you know, a lifetime ago, and the other hand, it seems like yesterday. So it's always an interesting thing to do.
Yeah. Do you know when you're going to be releasing all that?
It should be sometime before Christmas.
You'd mentioned too that you moved to North Carolina.
Yeah, we've spent the better part of the last decade in Texas, and turns out grandparents are a good amenity.
Yeah, they are.
And so all the grandparents are on the East Coast. So.
Yeah. That's got to be nice though, because there's one thing about living in Texas and being in Texas and the idea of Texas, and then there's another thing about being away from Texas and then being able to romanticize it.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is very true.
Yeah.
That's very true. I was definitely very aware of the reasons why I wanted to leave, but I'm also very aware now of what I miss very tangibly.
All of your neighbors who listen to this interview are going to be like, what did I smell?
No, we all bitch and moan about it collectively, or we did when I lived there.
Speaking of smell, you live close to bird smell now.
That's right. Yeah.
To Ben.
That's right, Mr. Bridwell.
Mr. Ben Bridwell. Yeah.
Oddly enough, we're going into the studio in about 2 weeks to do some cover songs together.
So that's going to happen.
As of today.
Yeah. As of today, it's going to happen.
See what happens tomorrow. Yeah, we're excited. Yeah. We've been toying with the idea for ages, and so now we're finally making it happen.
I know your guys' career has kind of always been intertwined because it was his brother, right?
Well, his brother and I were really good friends in high school, and I knew Ben, and we just kind of kept in contact. You know, when we got older and realized we were both interested in movies, we were just kind of into music, and we would just kind of, you know, keep in touch. And so it's really, I owe Ben my entire career, to be blunt.
Wow.
He had a band called Carissa's Weird in Seattle, and they were talking to Sub Pop's label there about putting their stuff out, and he said, here, you know, he just put my stuff in their ear, and they called me. Yeah, it's crazy.
What's cool to kind of see it come full circle then, if you guys if you actually make it to the studio in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's going to be great.
And then, and so then when he started the Bands of Horses, we took him out on the road and sort of showed my friend off.
And now look where you both went.
I know, it's crazy.
It's awesome. Let's get back to your current music then. So like I said, Ghost on Ghost is out. It's I had it as one of my top 5 records last year.
Well, you have great taste,
I
obviously.
do have great taste. It's fantastic. And I know you've kind of always had that thing. I love reading your reviews every single time. Because no one ever forgets what your very first record sounded like.
Yeah.
Even though you've really never sounded like that since your first record.
Pretty much.
This is kind of a jazz record for you. I mean, I think it's close to jazz as you've come so far.
Well, definitely. I mean, some of the tracks are straight up, you know, I mean, there's a song called Lover's Revolution. It's a straight up Mingus ripoff. You know, Haitian or Cuban, you know, knife fight. And so, yeah, it was definitely, you know, I've been playing with more jazz players over the years. And it was great to be able to, you know, use that sonic space to reinterpret some of your tunes, or, you know, or to surprise yourself.
Yeah.
It seems to be important these days.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I do love what you do every time. Does it ever did you ever get tired of that though? Like, guys, I've not sounded like that in so long.
Yeah,
because you spent your entire career fighting your reputation.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone does that to a certain extent, though. I mean, I'm definitely, yeah, it's frustrating, and you wish that they could give your new material its due just at face value. But at the same time, you know, no matter what you put out, someone's going to think it's great, and someone's going to think it's a turd.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
right.
we're all different, and so just keep on doing what you do.
Yeah. Do you find that some fans have an ownership of your songs?
I'm aware of people, you know, and the fans and their
Passion.
their passions.
Their
yeah,
passion,
I mean,
yeah.
bless them. You know,
Sure.
I thank God for them. But at the same time, you can't really make music for other people or art for other people. You have to sort of make it for yourself.
I do want to say it's kind of a really interesting time for a certain breed of singer-songwriters. You know, how are you falling that?
Yeah.
You're a solo artist who's always with a band. You know.
Yeah, for the most part.
But it is an interesting time because it looks like, you know, there were a bunch of you that kind of got your start around the same time, who kind of were similar sounds, that are just now or over the last few years going in these odd directions that do play against type.
Like who?
You know, Ray LaMontagne just came out with a new record. I know he was, you know, a little bit later than you, but close. And his is getting all. I mean, he got with Auerbach.
What's he doing?
Yeah, it's he got with Dan Auerbach. So there, of course you got a little bit of Black Keys sound on a few songs,
cool.
psychedelic stuff
That's
going
cool.
on. But
Ray.
it just makes me think back. Like, it's not the first time it happened. Like Cat Stevens, you know, he did
Yeah.
that. Dylan, obviously.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I think everything has slowed down. The attention span has slowed down a bit. I mean, you know, you think about, I mean, I'm not going to compare myself to the Beatles, so please don't misunderstand me. But I mean, their career was 10 years, and look at the difference between their first record and the last record.
Right.
I mean, Jesus.
Yeah.
And so, but at the same time, you know, then people were putting out a record, 2 records a year. You know what I mean? And now you're lucky if you get 1 record every 2 or 3 years.
Right.
You know, there's just so much music that I think there's so many bands to keep track of their trajectory of whatever. It's hard. It's more complex.
Yeah. Well, I just like seeing what all of you guys are doing because, like, and I was just coming at like Lee Hazelwood and Nielsen and all them how they would take it, because being a solo artist, whether you're playing with a band or not, it seems like when you're a solo artist, it would be tougher actually to change the game, change your own game. And I don't know, is that true?
You know, there's different camps. You know, some people refine what they do and do it over and over really well.
Yeah.
And I feel like I, for better or for worse, came from a fine arts background where it was hammered from the beginning. You know, you're only as good as your next idea.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you're really your own worst enemy in a certain sense. I mean, you have to realize that you only draw from the same well each time, but you sometimes surprise yourself at how large the well is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
And so you just try to keep yourself entertained, honestly. You know, sometimes the audience gets pushed away because of that, and sometimes they embrace it and are excited by it.
Yeah,
You know, it just
really are.
depends.
So what happens next then? Because, like we said, I'm sure you're already working ahead and.
Yeah, well, we got the old stuff, like you said, the closet, the dusty stuff that's coming out, and then the stuff with Ben. I've been starting to write some songs. There's an artist, her name's Jessica Hoop. She's great, and I've been working with her with some songs, and then my own stuff. I think, and the Calexico record, I did a record with Calexico about 10 years ago now, too. I don't know where
More
that
anniversaries.
where that time went.
Yeah.
But we've been talking about doing a few things.
And a sequel.
Yeah, or something.
You've got to the sequel part of your life, Sam.
I guess so.
Well, I can't wait to hear all of these things, and you know, whenever the next record gets done, for your own Iron and Wine record.
Yeah,
right?
me too. We'll see what that ends up being like.
Yeah. All right, man. Thanks so much.
Thanks,
It was great talking to you.
Yeah, likewise. You
See
too.
you around. All right, cool.